Did you enjoy that intro? My cat sat in my seat when I was setting up to record. I guess he wanted to help me paint today. Today I am painting the Model Magic feathers that I made on, I believe it was Sunday? Yes, Sunday. They don't feel completely dry. I still think the bottoms are a little bit wet, so maybe I'll flip them over for the next day or so and see if that helps that dry. The tops are dry, but they're very foamy, which I keep saying is really weird. I've never played with something like this before. It feels the same wet as it does dry. It's not like as malleable as it was when it was wet. It's really weird. I highly recommend playing with the stuff. It's very interesting, very different. Don't forget to share your work with me on social media. Tag samlescreations so that I can see your clay models and Play-Doh models and stuff, because at the end of the week I'm gonna pick a random person to send some like a whole box of clay and Play-Doh and stuff to. It's a very good pastime. I'm making a lot of cool projects this week that I never even considered making before, and it's very exciting for me, to be honest. And painting these little models just adds so much depth and detail to the pieces. And it's so easy. It's very easy. The finished product comes out looking extremely detailed, and there's highlights and lowlights and everything, and all I'm doing is shoving dark paint in the cracks that I made while it was still wet, and then going back over it with a highlight color, and I'm highlighting the little stem, I guess, in the middle to add some more depth and detail. The red is my favorite just because it reminds me of like steampunk costumes. Like if you look at somebody's handmade, homemade steampunk costume, they've got these foam pieces that have been like weathered. It looks weathered, and they use brown to make it look weathered or rusted or something. That's what this reminds me of, and that's why it's my favorite. But my second favorite is the blue, just because of I love cool colors. I've said this in a past video. I love cool colors. They're my favorite. I even dyed my hair blue. Blue's, I guess, one of my favorite colors right now. The white, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, like shading wise, because it's just white, it's not a color. And then I realized that seagull feathers have some white on them, so I painted half of it like a grayish black, and it looked pretty cool too. I have a seagull feather that I keep on my front window in my car because it was the last feather that I picked up when I was still living in Toledo, Ohio. I used black paint for it, but I also watered down the paintbrush a little bit so that it was thinner, so that it came out more grayish, and I just kept adding layers like that. I'm just using regular acrylic paint. It's not watercolor paint or anything. I considered using watercolor, but I wasn't sure how bright it would be, so I wanted to use acrylic. But you can always water down acrylic because it's water soluble. The yellow one was definitely not my favorite. I don't know why it was so hard to paint that one. I have orange and red that I use for the details, and it didn't turn out looking the best. I mean, it looks okay, but it's definitely not my favorite. You might have noticed that I have been putting my paint on a pickle. That is because I forgot to grab a paper plate or a paint palette to put my paint on for this project. So I just grabbed the nearest piece of paper, which was this notepad, which happens to be a pickle, and I absolutely love that. It is so funny. It brings me joy. So this feather painting project went pretty well, and I look forward to seeing how the rest of the painting goes the rest of this week. I'm still not sure about the Play-Doh. I don't know the kitty dough. I'm not sure if it's gonna dry enough to use, but maybe. But I am very excited to paint the chicken. I look forward to seeing your work. I hope you're having a great day and happy crafting.